We're coming to you from the Radford Studio Center lot in Studio City, right over the hill from Hollywood. This is the place where dreams are made, legends are born. Hello and welcome to The Lot. I'm Suzanne Marques.
I'll stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. It must be exhausting, always rooting for the end to heal.
Taylor Swift is a history maker. She took all 10 spots of the top 10 in the Billboard 100, all songs from her new album, Midnights. And this video for Antihero is number 3 on YouTube. There is a hilarious scene of her future kids fighting over her fortune, but she leaves all of her money to her cats. It makes sense, right? If you like Taylor's music video, you're gonna love the new dark comedy, The Estate, in theaters now. The family fortune is up for grabs and family loyalty goes out the window.
Aunt Hilda? We heard you weren't well.
You think the sight of you two is gonna cheer me up? Are you dim?
Anna Faris and Toni Collette are sisters, competing with the rest of their greedy family members for their dying aunt's estate.
She doesn't like anybody. It was playtime. I loved playing a character that was like corruptly courageous.
You seem to have caught the sun today, Hilda. You've got a little bit of a glow.
It's jaundice.
It looks good on you.
Well, I mean, when I first read the script, I was sitting in my living room with my family and they were literally just looking at me like I was crazy because I was laughing and screaming out loud. It is really outrageously funny. And then to actually be able to gather this incredible ensemble cast, it was just an embarrassment of riches. They were all so talented. And to see everyone just enjoying being so loose and free and being able to run with just how wrong some of it is, you know, and enjoying the hilarity of it was excellent. Really was very, very fun. And also in between takes, just hanging out, they're all great people. It was really great. They're all beautiful. And I think the film is, I'm glad you laughed because when I read it, that's how it felt. And I thought, God, if it makes me laugh this much, I hope it makes other people laugh this much.
Oh, Cousin Beatrice is here from New York, huh?
We know why you're here. Do you think we look like idiots?
Do you really want me to answer that question?
David Duchovny and Rosemarie DeWitt play their equally devilish cousins.
She was so wickedly, deliciously wicked.
Yeah, it's just in general, I just feel like it might just be some struggle of like modern women, how not only do you want to do everything, you want to do it well and you want to be liked and you want to be kind and caring while you do it. It's so fun to drop the whole thing and just have no moral compass, no remorse, not worry about anyone's feelings, not worry if someone got invited or didn't get invited, you know, all of it. Every part of that is delicious, as you said. I would have done it for free. You know what I mean? You can just exercise that muscle.
What's up? No! I wouldn't lose touch with Aunt Hilda. I'm not a complete idiot. Macy, Percy, you are looking mighty fine.
It's always a great opportunity when you find a comedy. And I guess Californication was a little bit like this, where you play a character who kind of doesn't have the filters that other people have, or that other people have to survive. So you wonder how Richard has survived to be this age and this life being the way he is. But since it's a comedy, you don't have to ask that question. But it's a great gift for an actor to kind of work on just letting go of real world shame, real world consequence, and all those things, and just say exactly what the id is wanting or saying.
So Richard, call me Dick. I like Dick now. Dick.
Oh, you like Dick now?
I prefer Dick.
But they learned this bad behavior from their elders. Kathleen Turner plays their aunt on her deathbed, and Patricia French her sassy sister.
Mom, she's your sister.
I know, but you know what a she is.
You can see where all of the kids were corrupted by their aunts because they're unhinged. They have no filter. They are at each other's throats. And I do have a few relatives like that. My mom's from Arkansas.
I'm in Arkansas now.
Are you kidding?
I'm in the airport in northern Arkansas.
You should walk around and be like, I'm feeling Arkansas-y today.
See?
Well,
oh my gosh, people will pass out.
Yeah.
David Duchovny saying that? Are you kidding me?
Well, let me just show you. I'm in the quiet room in the airport.
Oh, I love it.
Sounds
So
like you're being punished. You're in the quiet room at the airport.
I have completely lost sight of what we're doing here.
That whole cast needs to be punished. By the way, a new breed of Transformers have arrived on Earth, mentored by everyone's favorite Bumblebee. And you can catch them on Paramount Plus and Nickelodeon in the new animated TV series Transformers Earthspark.
Things aren't always what they seem.
In Transformers Earthspark, it's many years after the end of the Civil War between the Autobots and the Decepticons. Optimus Prime and Megatron are on the same side now.
Megatron and Optimus, they have a long history that goes back before the war, where they both believed in a better future for their people. They just went about it in completely different ideological ways. So we explore what happens when they put those ideals aside and they work together.
And shoulder to shoulder with the guys, Elita 1, voiced by Sissy Jones.
I got into voiceover about 10 years ago with the goal of working in animation, and everybody gets into voiceover with the goal of working in animation. So it can be a long, hard road, but this is the dream job, right? This is the job that you get that call, that email from your agent that you've booked freaking Transformers, and everything else blacks out for a minute. I love her so much. I love her spunk and her competitiveness and her compassion. She's just been an absolute joy.
And don't forget everyone's favorite, Bumblebee. He mentors a new breed of Transformers called Terrans, who work with people to protect their new life and find their place in the world. Bumblebee mentors the Terrans and helps out the Malto family, who moved from the big city of Philly to the small town of Witwicky, Pennsylvania. Meet the Malto kids.
I play Thrash. He is like Twitch, a Terran, a new kind of species. He's outgoing and rambunctious and fun-loving, and he encounters the first two things he encounters in this new world are Robbie and Mo, who he immediately forms a genuine bond and connection with, along with Twitch, and they become the most important things in his life, who he wants to kind of explore this new world with, and he becomes fiercely loyal and devoted to them.
Slow down! I don't have turbo legs! She's the little sister. She's like a little big sister, though. She's very optimistic. She loves her family very much. She's actually a little protective, but she loves her family very much. And I love how optimistic she is, always trying to make sure everyone's having fun and everyone's having a great time.
Stop doing that.
Doing what?
Trying to control my life.
I play Robbie Malto, who plays Mo Malto's big brother. He's a little bit upset at the beginning because he's moving from his hometown of Philly to a new town, and he is not too excited, but after he may or may not meet some super cool Earthborn Transformers robots, hint, hint, he realizes that things may not be so bad.
Arachnimex, tear them limb from limb. Stand down, mad droid.
Bumblebee? I'm not leaving until you're safe.
Love him. Playwright Aaron Sorkin has an updated take on the Harper Lee classic To Kill a Mockingbird that is taking a closer look at the current state of race relations and the justice system.
There are new elements of the horror being born all the time in our society still, and so it creates a sense of urgency to get out there and some integrity to tell the story honestly.
Up next, why this play has become even more relevant in current times. And we'll hear from the cast of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever ahead of next week's release.
I see you.
The way of water connects all things. Before your birth and after your death.
Anticipation continues to build for the release of Avatar: The Way of Water. A new extended trailer just dropped, showcasing more of the new stunning footage of Pandora. Just in time for Christmas, the sci-fi sequel to the 2009 original hits theaters December 16th. After the death of actor Chadwick Boseman, the status of the sequel to his mega hit movie Black Panther was left with a lot of questions. Entertainment Tonight's Nichelle Turner was with the cast of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever to find out how they moved on without their star. And she joins us now from a spectacular location that makes me so jealous. Nichelle?
Aloha, Suzanne. I'm coming to you from the beautiful Sheraton Waikiki in Oahu for ET's Hawaii Week. Now, Wakanda Forever comes to theaters November 11th, so I was on the premiere's purple carpet, where the stars told me how they're honoring Chadwick on set and off. Chadwick's presence is all over this premiere tonight. I just spoke with Ryan. He's got a medallion with Chadwick's face on it.
He did. He wore that every day. He wears that every day. He keeps him close to his heart.
People like Chadwick don't come along often, you know, and I was blessed to have spent a whole lot of time with him.
It's really hard to do this without our brother. He should be here.
Before we started shot one frame, we all gathered together at his resting place, and his name to the heavens.
Lupita Nyong'o explained how the loss of their star changed the course of the sequel.
We lost Chadwick, and so Wakanda lost T'Challa, and the country and are figuring out how to move forward without him. And we see the people, the characters that we know and love, dealing with that in very different ways.
Only the most broken people can be great leaders.
Tenoch Huerta joins the cast as Namor, Wakanda's new rival. Just don't call him the bad guy.
Are we the villain?
Well, he's not a villain because he's protecting his family, he's protecting his people, he's protecting his kingdom.
And of course, we'll have so much more on the next Entertainment Tonight. I'm Nichelle Turner.
Thanks, Nichelle. While they might be only playing roles, there's no doubt actors can develop a lifelong bond while they work together on stage.
I lost my dad quite early, so to have somebody like this in my life, and to be able to play this story out is just so moving.
They play Scout and Atticus. Up next, we're hearing from two stars of To Kill a Mockingbird about their father-daughter bond they've developed. And two strangers embark on a cross-country drive to join a study involving life after death. Hear from the stars of Next Exit next. Inspired by the show Ghosts on CBS, a haunted mirror at the 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica enabled fans to communicate with spirits from the hit series. The Message from Beyond? Make sure to watch The Lot every Friday at 7, which is expected after our spooky Halloween episode last week. Be sure to catch a new episode of Ghosts every Thursday night at 8:30. Oscar winner Aaron Sorkin wrote a new take on Harper Lee's classic novel, To Kill a Mockingbird, and changed it again during the pandemic. We talked to the cast and the playwright about the controversy of the story and also the one of family in the play. Richard Thomas and Melanie Moore are Atticus and Scout Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird at the Pantages Theater in Hollywood. You're playing Atticus, the dream dad. The dad to end all dads. I want to hear from her first because
I have the inside dad perspective on it. It's incredible. I couldn't be more lucky, honestly. Everybody I told that I was doing the show, he was already attached to the show, and everybody was like, you are going to love Richard Thomas. He is the kindest, the greatest, the most loving, and the best scene partner. You know, as somebody, I lost my dad quite early, so to have somebody like this in my life, and to be able to play this story out is just so moving. It's such a gift.
She's only saying this because she's my daughter.
It's so sweet. But that's why I wanted her to talk first. Just the way I'm talking to you, does it still kind of humble you to be,
Yes, it's very humbling, but truly humbling, and thank you.
Oh my gosh, of course.
But, this supremely talented young woman is a joy to play with every night, and we have a similar way of going about our work too, so our scene work together is such a joy, and she's magnificent in the part, as we know. But my connection, I was a young actor, so young actors are really interesting to me, and I think that what young actors go through is very, very important to me, and to have someone this gifted and kind to work with is, I feel very paternal towards Melanie. I really do. And one of the things I wanted to say about it, and I'm still kind of like getting over what you just said, but one of the things, the social justice issues of the play, of the story, frequently overshadow the childhood issues and the parenting story. I mean, there's a man, he's a widower who, along with Calpurnia, is raising these two kids, and so much of the story is really about childhood and what happens in childhood and the loss of innocence. And so some of the most precious moments for me on stage are the dad moments. They really are.
Yagel T. Welch plays unjustly accused Tom Robinson. And Aaron Sorkin's revival of the script has you hoping justice prevails this time. He revised his original script during the pandemic.
George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, those things happened after we'd opened on Broadway.
So does that feel like an added pressure, playing a role that can be so symbolic and such a lightning rod of a story, which is so wild to even think of, you know, and it was required reading when I was a child, and now it's controversial? We can both.
I'll say this. Pressure is not the word I would use. I would say it's urgent. It creates a sense of urgency. There's more of a need to tell this story because it's not encapsulated in time. It's so present, and there are new elements of the horror being born all the time in our society still, and so it creates a sense of urgency to get out there and some integrity to tell the story honestly, and not shy away from what the horror really was, because if we were to retell the George Floyd story and sort of mute it down, you know, where he was only on his neck for, 2 minutes instead of 9. It sort of disrespects the truth.
In Harper Lee's novel, Tom gets shot 18 times by prison guards. And I had decided, that just feels like an exaggeration to me. I just don't think it's going to land as something real. And so I made it 5 times. And then we shut down for COVID. And a lot happened in this country in what seemed like the blink of an eye. And so when we came back, and I had been asked, did you make any changes because of the Black Lives Matter movement, because of George Floyd? Only one. I changed it back to 18 times. It no longer seemed like an exaggeration to me. You mentioned that To Kill a Mockingbird is now a controversial book, and it is. Ironically, from both sides of the ideological spectrum. The left has a problem with it because they perceive it to be a white savior story. The right has a problem with it because it makes racism look bad. And what I wish is that those conversations, instead of happening in school board meetings, happen in classrooms. There are a lot of looks at this story, but the only wrong one is to forbid it from being read.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, legendary musician and composer Danny Elfman talked about his career in his new show. This week, his daughter, Molly Elfman, shares the inspiration of her new film, Next Exit, that took her 10 years to write. It's a sci-fi movie discussing death and ghosts and may leave you with a new lust for life.
I'm taking a trip. Where are you going? It's difficult to say.
So this is supposed to be goodbye? No, I'll come back and haunt you.
Two unhappy strangers go on a road trip in Next Exit. Their destination, a scientist's radical experiment to find life on the other side. Katie Parker and Rahul Kohli play Rose and Teddy. Katie says this role helped her reflect on her own life and how we go through stages and grow and change.
I met someone on this film and we fell in love, and our relationship ended and went into a different direction. But who I was during the relationship and what I learned through that relationship and who I am on the other side has made me think a lot about Rose's journey, even though it's different. It's been, this is what happens for all of us through different career choices. If you become a mother, if you marry someone and go through a divorce, you're always changing. And that's what I think the movie is about, and what it captures. And I hope people are able to see their own journeys on screen.
Molly Elfman wrote this sci-fi movie over the span of a decade, inspired by her own life and loss over the years.
Every single time something bad in my life would happen, I would return to, and this script just made me happy. It gave me hope. It was a place where I could be earnest about expressing my feelings, but also find joy. And so it's really an emotional character journey more than it is, I think, anything else.
Molly says working herself to the bone during the start of the pandemic, then taking a step back, helped her change her life and became part of the movie.
We did an immersive experience in May of 2020, Arcana, which was amazing. And I ended up getting really sick from that because I just needed to chill out. And I think my body getting really sick, I was finally like, I'm just going to calm down. And funny enough, I went up to my dad's place actually in Santa Barbara, where he was ironically working on what would eventually become Big Mess. And I just sat outside a lot and I watched the clouds and I looked at the ocean and I talked to the Mother Nature. And I was just like, what do I really need right now? And the answer was to listen. And so that's why a lot of this film is all about just settling down and actually listening and looking at the world around you. It was so important for me to capture the skies, to capture the beauty of the places that we were going to. So it was a huge influence for me.
Became an incredible movie. Well, 2 new judges are firing up the court on the new season of Hot Bench. Up next, we're going behind the scenes, inside the courtroom, to meet one judge rooting for the underdog, the other a former hotshot divorce attorney in the show's 9th season. Order in the court. 2 new judges have joined the hit show Hot Bench. I talked to them as they brought down the gavel on their first cases. Bringing new fire and new energy to top-rated Hot Bench, 2 powerful women judges, flanking OG Judge Michael Corriero on the bench.
I'm blessed by 2 colleagues that understand the law, have a sense of humor, and they just make me feel very much at home, and I'm really pleased to be connected to them.
Right now, we're addressing your behavior, okay?
Judge Yodita Wolde is a criminal defense attorney, founder and managing attorney of her own criminal defense firm, and served as associate municipal judge for the city of Dallas.
Immigrating here to the U.S., you know, my parents not knowing the culture, the language, and having to learn English through me, put me in a position of always rooting for the underdog. My parents were the underdog. And I kind of grew up with that same mentality of, you know, being in school and eating with that person that was eating alone, you know?
Do you think that starting to drive slower saves gas?
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't.
Judge Rachel Juarez comes from a family of attorneys and has a family law practice handling high-profile divorces. She's handled civil cases for large corporate clients, too.
Yeah, I came from a family full of lawyers. I wanted to be a lawyer since I was 6. I just loved the law, and I loved the sort of performance aspect of it, of kind of telling a story to a group of people or a judge and convincing them that your story is the correct story and that they should see it your way. So I really loved the sort of trial advocacy part of the law from a very young age, and here I am.
Judge Corriero served in the New York State Court for 28 years, with a soft spot for helping young offenders.
The way I've explained it recently is that if you had seen me at 14, you would never have imagined that one day I would grow up to be a judge. And so I try to do things from the perspective of the 14-year-old version of me.
I object to this being the end of this episode of The Lot. I'm Suzanne Marques. We are back next week. We are chatting with Keith Urban, Duran Duran, and Bryan Cranston. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for joining us.